As the weather starts to turn colder, I find myself drawn to quiet and cosy places. This time I'm in the Orkney Islands in northern Scotland, and I'll be staying in a farmhouse that's more like a living museum than a holiday home. It's a place that tells the story of life here over a century ago, where every detail has been carefully brought back to how it once was. For the next few days, I'm leaving the modern world behind and stepping back into the past to experience what island life was like all those years ago. I am here in the beautiful town of Kirkwall on the Orkney Islands in the north of Scotland. There are many islands in Orkney, but today I am heading to one of the furthest away Orkney Islands to go and stay in a really unique accommodation. We're about to load onto the ferry, so let's go. I'm heading to Sanday, one of the northern Orkney Islands. The ferry from Kirkwall takes about 1 hour and 40 minutes and cost me £44.10 for my van and one passenger.
Please ensure that all personal belongings are removed from the vessel. Thank you for travelling with Orkney Ferries and we wish you a pleasant onward journey.
As I began driving across the island, I noticed how flat and open it was, with hardly any trees, much like many of the other Orkney Islands. The drive from the harbour to my accommodation for the next few days took around 10 minutes. This is Quoyness, a restored Victorian farmhouse, and it's unlike any accommodation I've ever seen. I am in the porch and it just already feels like going back in time when you go inside this house. I have made it into the first room, and if you are a lover of antiques and vintage things like me, you are going to be in heaven. So this here is the living room, and it really feels like you are stepping back in time when you come inside here. Not only does it look like the olden days, it also smells like it with the oil lamp on the table there. There is a spinning wheel there. This here is an Orkney chair. So this is the traditional style of chair from Orkney. Here's the stove that they would have cooked on. All the meals would have been prepared here, and they would have made cups of tea. All these beautiful things on the mantelpiece as well. Inside this little nook here is a little study. Wow. And then the walls have been wallpapered with an old book. That is really cool. Opposite the living room is the first bedroom. My goodness, look at that bed. So that was originally a box bed, and then they've put a double bed in there to make it a bit more modern and comfortable. But wow, the design of this room is incredible. There's this gorgeous little reading nook in here as well. There's just so much to look at and take in, so many small details. The bed looks so comfy, and I noticed there is an old-fashioned hot water bottle, I think. Yeah. Wow. I also spotted this here. Is this an old nightgown? Maybe I'll try it on later. But let's go upstairs. This here is another of the bedrooms. Inside here is a little box bed. That is so cute. I've always wanted to try sleeping in a box bed. Maybe this will be my opportunity. I'm quite small, so I should fit. What's really nice about this house is that you feel like you're in a museum, but you're also staying here. It's like the best of both worlds. Oh my gosh, I love it. This is so cool. Oh, there's a beautiful doll's house as well. This is the master bedroom. Wow, look at that 4-poster bed. Oh, it's so comfy. And it's so nice being in a 4-poster bed. I think this is the first time I've ever been inside a 4-poster bed. It really makes you feel like you're going back in time. Here's an example of lace knitting as well. Wow, so intricate. Maybe I'm wrong, but were these used for the toilet? Or maybe they were used for something else. Wow, there's a baby's cot in here as well. Wow, that's so sweet. Between the 2 bedrooms upstairs, looks like a little cupboard, but this is actually a bathroom. I've come back downstairs and beside the living room is the kitchen. Okay, so this here is the kitchen inside the old farmhouse. My goodness. The original house wouldn't have had a kitchen, so this was added on in the 1950s. So the kitchen has been redesigned like the 1950s style kitchen. My goodness, there's just so much to look at, and I spotted some recipe books. Where was it? The one here, and there's more on the shelves up there. So while I'm here, I really want to take advantage of this beautiful kitchen and cook up some interesting recipes. Oh my goodness, there is an arrival afternoon tea. That looks so good. Wow, there's some homemade items, some chutney, jam, and some bread as well. Here in the back room there is the fridge and then lots of old equipment for making things like butter. This is not what I was expecting in the old farmhouse, but this is a beautiful bathroom. Very modern. Oh my gosh, I haven't had a bath in ages. Cannot wait to try that. It has underfloor heating and you will not believe it, the star of the show is a sauna. Look at that. Okay, so this is the sauna. Sauna for one. Oh my goodness. I love saunas so much. Cannot wait to use this. Now we've had a look around the house, time for a cup of tea. This here is an old kettle and I've never used a kettle like this before. Let's give it a try. I absolutely love this place. I am so excited for the next few days staying here. I don't feel like I am dressed appropriately to stay here. I think I might need to change my clothes into something a bit more fitting. Okay, I actually went and got the cardigan because I feel like this type of house is more suited to this. What do you think of my cardigan? It's knitted using Shetland wool, but it's made in Scotland and I bought it secondhand on a website called Vinted, which is a really good website in the UK. It might be in other places too, where you can buy secondhand clothing. And usually hand knitted or knitted sweaters or cardigans are quite pricey. So yeah, I bought this. I think it was maybe £15. That's better. Mmm. They're so good. Next, I'm going to try some of the homemade bread, and then this here is homemade cheese. I've never tried that before. Should have done savoury then sweet, but oh well. So I'm going to try the cheese on its own first. Tastes a little bit like cottage cheese. That's really nice. Here in the living room, they have some things that you can do. So you can try sewing, and I think this is basically a smaller version of the main rug in this room. So how they used to make rugs is that they would reuse a lot of items. So they'd cut their old clothing and then sew it onto the rug, so nothing was wasted. And it was like that for all the things in the house, even animal bones, threads from clothing. They kept everything because they lived on a remote island. You just never knew when those things could be useful. There's also this cross stitch here, so there's a pattern, but you can add something on if you want. I used to do cross stitch all the time when I was younger. I really enjoyed it, so I might have a go at doing it. I've sort of forgotten how to do it, but I think it'll be easy to remember once I get going again. There's this thing here called Orkney berry meal. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Have you ever heard of this before? Because actually it's the first ever time I've seen this or heard of it. And there is a mill here in Orkney that mills this. You can use this to make things like scones or pancakes or bannocks. So I'd really like to look up some recipes and give this a go while I'm here. They have some recipes on their website, baronymill.com. I found these glasses on the table and decided to try them on, but I can't see anything when I'm wearing them. I actually don't wear glasses or contact lenses, so it's so funny. I have wrapped up warm because I'm going to head outside and go for a little walk around the house and see what there is. To be honest, it is so hard to even think about leaving this house because I love it in here so much. Beside the house is a shed, and it is full of lots of old artefacts. Let's have a look. In Scotland, usually the outhouse is called a byre beside the main house or croft, and that is where cows were usually kept. And this was also used as the toilet before they had a toilet inside the house. In the shed now, they've set up all the tools and equipment that they found when they were going through the house, and there is so much in here to discover. There's tools for things like plumbing, cobbling shoes, sowing oats, and then also all the equipment for the cows as well. Living on an island meant that you had to be quite self-sufficient. You couldn't just call someone up, get them to come round and fix your plumbing. So you had to have all the equipment and the skills to be able to fix things. I've just walked down the path and oh my goodness, look at this. I love Shetland ponies, they're so cute. Shetland pony is a small one, and Clydesdale is the big one, I think. Hi. Oh my gosh, their faces look almost like humans, don't they? Bolloquy has been a working farm for more than 3 centuries, and the site also features a historic watermill, which is set to be restored to some extent in the future. It's right on the beach here. Fantastic views. Wow, so much seaweed down there. I have and I made it into the garden beside the farmhouse, and there's quite a few things growing in here, and I'm not really sure what these things are. They look a little bit like potatoes or turnips maybe. This is the leaf, and then this is the vegetable here. Does anyone know what that is? There's some more in there. Maybe it's a turnip or some celeriac. I think celeriac is usually a bit more hairy. I'm going to head to the island shop now to pick up some supplies so that I can cook some yummy dishes in the farmhouse. I'm back from shopping. I picked up this coffee. I got this cheese. So Orkney is quite well known for its cheese, and I haven't tried this one before, the smoked cheddar. I also got this Orkney fudge. So this is Highland Park malt whiskey fudge. And then I got a selection of beers. So there's actually more than one brewery here in Orkney. There is this one, the Swanee Brewery, and then the Orkney Brewery. So the lady in the shop recommended some of these to me. I also picked up a copy of the Orcadian. So I've always seen this when I've been in Orkney. So this is the newspaper, and this is all the Orkney news in here. So that'll be quite interesting to read when I'm here. The population of Sanday is around 500, and the shop is so well stocked. It's a really big shop compared to some island shops, and it's got so many things that you would need in there. When I was out, the fire actually went out. So this one is a little bit different to a fire that I've used before. So you need to use this bioethanol liquid and put it inside. So it lasts for about 5 or 6 hours if you put half a bottle. And then, yeah, it's my first time doing it. So let's give it a go. There's this thing here, looks like a big sponge. So then this goes into this. And then once it's in, you can light it. So here we go. So this is a cleaner alternative to using coal or wood. And also when you look at Orkney, there's not many places with forests, especially on this island. So most of the wood would have to be imported. I'm also going to light this oil lamp. So take this off. Light it, and then this goes on. Oh, it's actually quite easy. I was quite worried about doing that. I love having a warm drink in the evenings before I go to bed to help me relax. My favourite evening drink is called Beam Dream. Not only does Dream taste absolutely amazing, it also helps you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up feeling refreshed. It supports all 4 stages of sleep with natural ingredients like reishi and magnesium. It's also sugar-free, gluten-free, and vegan. The flavour I've been drinking most recently is this one, the chocolate peanut butter. It's rich, creamy, and really chocolatey, and it's so perfect for a night like tonight when it's raining and windy outside. I've also really enjoyed other flavours like brownie batter and chocolate cinnamon. I usually mix mine with hot oat milk around an hour before I go to bed, and it helps me fall asleep much quicker. When I'm travelling and get woken up by noise, I also feel like I can fall back asleep much quicker again. If you'd like to give it a try, Beam are offering their biggest discount they've ever offered on my channel. They are giving early access to their Black Friday sale where you can get up to 50% off for a limited time. You can click the link in the video description below. Thank you to Beam for sponsoring today's video. I'm now going to start cooking up some dinner, and I found an apron which I'm going to put on. Okay, here is the apron. Not really sure it's my style, but let's give it a go. Welcome to the cooking show. Tonight I'm going to be cooking up some potatoes and fresh lobster, which has just been delivered. Now let's get cooking. First, I'm going to do the roasted potatoes. Ooh. Here is the lobster that was just delivered. I'm going to have a little sip of beer. This is the Scapa Bear. So I think this is the grain that they grow here in Orkney. Let's give it a go. Quite light. Very good. Now it's time to cook the lobsters. If you don't want to watch this, please skip past this section. Lobsters have been something that people eat in Scotland for a very long time, and recently I learned how to cook it myself. So the recipe is you get a big pot of boiling water with salt up to the boil, then you add in your lobster for 7.5 minutes from the point it reboils when the lobster is in. This is a recipe that was sent to me by one of my family members who is a chef in a seafood restaurant. So let's give this a try. I'm going to check how long it takes to reboil and then I'll start the timer for 7.5 minutes. Next, I'm going to make a garlic butter to go with the lobster. Here is the lobster that I cooked up myself. Dinner is served. So we have the lobster here, the roast potatoes, and then also the garlic butter sauce. I smashed the lobster with the rolling pin, so it's a bit easier to get inside and actually get the lobster meat out. After all that hard work, here is the end result. Lobster with garlic butter and roasted potatoes with an Orkney beer. Cheers! Let's give it a try. Wow, that is so good. I had the best night of sleep last night. Oh my gosh, the bed is so comfy. So cozy in this house. I think I never ever want to leave. The weather outside is a bit rubbish, so just been reading the newspaper. Really interesting to read the local news here in Orkney. I was reading this one yesterday, but I recently bought this book as well, A Year in My Shetland Garden, and it has a lot of recipes with ingredients that are grown in Shetland, but here in Orkney as well, the ingredients are quite similar because they're both Northern Isles. So it's just such a lovely book, lots of different recipes with a lot of seasonal ingredients. So I'm going to read a bit of this as well. Every year I like to set goals for myself. This year I think I've managed to achieve quite a lot of the goals already, which I'm really happy about. But I've already started thinking about some of my goals for next year. One of my goals for next year is to get more into cooking and doing things that I haven't done before. And one of those was last night when I cooked the lobster. That was actually the first ever time I'd cooked a lobster by myself. I've done it before with others, so everyone's sort of helping and following the instructions. If any of you would like to share some of your goals that you've been working on, or maybe goals that you want to do next year, feel free to leave them in the comments. It's always nice to share things like that with others. I like to hear what you guys are working on. I was curious to hear more about the house and how this whole project began. Jackie Sinclair and Dave Walker spent 2 years carefully restoring the farmhouse, bringing it back to life.
Quoyness is now a Victorian farm heritage resource, really, but it's a bit unique in that you can actually come and live here. So you can sort of go and live in Victorian times. So we've opened the house, we've restored the house, and we've opened it and invited people to come and spend a week here living like a Victorian. It's like a museum where you don't have to go home at the end of the day. We bought the farm maybe 15 years ago, my husband and myself. The farmer was still living in the house. He had life tenancy in the house, and he moved away 2 years ago. April 23 he left the farm, and so the house fell to us. The plan was to make it into a self-catering cottage. Cut a long story short, when we arrived here we discovered that the family who'd been living here since the 1700s had barely thrown anything away, and that the lofts and the barns and every room in the house was stacked full of historical items that had belonged to the family, and the majority of those items belonged to a part of the family, a couple called John and Rubina Fay, who moved here from Edinburgh in 1886 with their 5 children. So as we opened chests and kists and boxes, and as we rummaged through things, we discovered a lot of their possessions, a lot of their furniture, all of their ornaments, a lot of their clothing and their personal effects. It was amazing. And then the plan changed. We've done a power of work on the house. It wasn't in great condition, but the good thing is it had been minimally interfered with. So as we peeled off the layers, we found history at every turn. We basically played wallpaper archaeology, peeling off layer after layer after layer till we got to the bottom. And we based our paint colours, we had the paint colours matched to the bottom layer of paint as we were taking them off. Everybody who's come so far has said to us, it's made a huge impact on me. Personally, the impact it's made on me is understanding what sustainable living really is actually all about, what living lightly is, what reusing materials, what using every part of an animal is, what repurposing and recycling is, not wasting, growing all your own food, raising all your own livestock, making all your own cheese and bread and butter. And it's changed the way that I see living lightly on the planet. Another guest said something completely different when I said to her, what impact did it have on you staying here? She said, it's made me realise how technology has freed me as a woman. She said, I spent my whole time here just living. I had to light the fire, I had to collect vegetables, I had to prepare food, I had to clear up, I couldn't just throw it in the dishwasher and order a carry out. And she said, I feel that I can, as a woman, I can be much more independent and much freer to do what I want to do because of technology. So what I want people to do is step back in time and find something in themselves to learn from the experience, to take away from the experience.
I've come across this photo album. Look at this. Gosh, there's so many books, photos, antiques, ornaments. I found this fiddle. Your chin here, don't you? I've never done this before, so maybe turn the volume down. Oh my gosh, this is really hard. It's not like a guitar where you just strum the string and it makes a noise. You actually have to put it in the correct direction to actually get some noise out of this. I've had such a fun day just hanging around in the house. It is so nice here. The weather is still not great outside, so I think I'm going to try this sauna. I am so excited to try the sauna because, yeah, it's a sauna in the farmhouse. Oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever stayed anywhere with a private sauna. So yeah, let's go and turn it on, see how it works. Okay, so here is the sauna. Now, here are the controls, so off and on. I went to a sauna before and it was at 90 degrees Celsius. Does that sound right? Oh wait, okay. 40. I'll set it to 90. Maybe 65 is, I don't know. Actually, I might check online what's the correct temperature for a sauna. I just googled the brand of this sauna and it's an infrared sauna. I don't think I've ever been in an infrared sauna before. So it's different to the electric sauna, so the temperature is a little bit less on this. So traditionally, an electric sauna would be between 70 and 90 degrees Celsius, whereas this one, they recommend a maximum of 65. So that's why I couldn't go more than 65. So I've turned it down to 50 and I'll wait till it reaches that before I go inside. It's only about less than 10 minutes and it's already got to 47 degrees. It heats up really quickly. Let's go sauna time! I'm so excited. Okay. Oh yeah. Nice and hot in there. The sauna was totally amazing and it's so nice. You can just come out the door here and get blasted by the wind. It is so nice sitting here. It's cleared up and you can see out to the sea and hear the sound of the waves crashing onto the shore. Amazing. The sauna was so good, and now I'm going to make some dinner. And I bought the cheese yesterday and I have some other cheese left over, so I don't have anything to eat with the cheese, so I'm planning to make some oat cakes, which I've never made before. I found a recipe in this book and there are actually some oats in the cupboard that were grown here on this island, Sanday, so I'm planning to use those for my recipe. Okay, here are the oatcakes. Not sure it was a success, to be honest, because they've all crumbled and fallen apart. Okay, here is the finished cheese board with my homemade oatcakes, and then this is the chutney that Jackie left for me in the gift basket. Orkney cheese, homemade cheese, and apples from the supermarket. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to try this. I really don't have high hopes for the oatcakes because they're so crumbly. I think they need to cool down more. I think I haven't left them long enough, but let's try some of the Orkney cheese. I always like to try cheese individually first because when it's with the chutney or the oatcakes, you can't really taste it properly. Very good. That's the Orkney smoked cheese. Okay, let's try with the chutney on my, homemade Orkney oatcake. So crumbly. Really good. I think maybe I used the wrong type of oats or they need to cool down more. I think that's the problem with the oatcakes. Now I'm going to have some of the Orkney fudge, the malt whiskey. So this one is Highland Park flavoured Orkney fudge. Let's give it a try. Oh, I can smell the whiskey. Tastes more like tablet than fudge. It's like crunchy like tablet. Fudge I always imagined to be a bit softer. No complaints, very nice. I thought I'd come down and have my morning coffee with the horses. Cheers, guys. Good morning. Looking forward to trying the Orkney coffee. Oh, very good. Very nice. Sometimes coffee's a bit bitter and sharp. This one is excellent. Sorry, no coffee for you. Yesterday I really enjoyed being in the house and being inside, so cozy, all the reading, but today I want to get out and explore a little bit more of the island because the weather looks quite good this morning. I think there's some more rain due later on, so I'm up bright and early, so let's go out and explore Sanday. I have made it to my first stop here, the little village of Kettletoft. I think this is one of the main settlements here on the island, and it's got a little harbour which is beautiful. There's also a hotel here and also somewhere you can go to eat, and also a crafts centre that has a cafe, but it's not open today. There are so many lobster pots here on the harbour. This is where my lobster was probably caught. Here is the map of the entire island. There's actually a lot to see and do here, and this is where I am here at Kettletoft, and it looks like there are seals in the harbour. Going to all these different islands in Scotland is so interesting, and something that I've been thinking about recently is certain islands have a really small population. Some places only have 6 people or 14 people or even 60 people. Then there's sort of mid-sized populations like this island which have around 500 people. And then you have much more populated islands like Islay or the Isle of Mull, much bigger islands that have a supermarket. It's really interesting to compare all these different islands. I think personally for me, if I was to live on an island, I think I would like to live on a mid-sized island with around 500 people because there's likely going to be a pub, there's going to be events going on, there's enough people to interact with. But I don't know, what would you prefer? What type of island would you prefer? Small size, medium size, or large size? Sanday is one of the largest of the Orkney Islands, known for its beaches and layers of history hidden beneath the shifting sands. Its name comes from Old Norse, meaning Sandy Isle. The fertile land drew early settlers over 5,000 years ago, and across the island you can still find traces of their past. Ancient tombs, grass-covered burial mounds known as barrows, and the stone remains of brochs, circular towers once used as strongholds or homes. It's also a haven for wildlife with waders, ducks, terns, seals, otters, and the Orkney vole, all calling it home. Me and Ernie Boy have parked up here beside this spectacular beach. Look at this. Wow, the water is so clear and the waves are crashing onto the shore. Incredible. The road to get to the parking area of the place I want to go is like this. It's a little bit sandy, a little bit like the island Sanday. But I was having flashbacks actually to last year when I actually got stuck on a sandy track like this near Aberdeen, and it was dark and it was snowing and there was no one around, and I had to call the rescue service to come and drag me out of the sandy track. So yeah, I was a bit nervous driving along there because I was worried that I might get stuck again, but it was okay. I think the sand is quite compacted down. Anyway, from here I am going to walk to an ancient site, which is one of the main things to see here on the Isle of Sanday. I've just come down onto the beach and I've spotted something which looks quite weird. Is that a whale? A dead whale on the beach? Or is it a rock? I don't know. Oh my gosh, the smell. I think it is a dead whale. Oh my gosh, it smells so bad. So there's the whale. I think it's a whale, maybe it's a minke whale. Does anyone know what this is? It's definitely not a seal, and it's not a dolphin, it's too big to be a dolphin. And there's actually 2. There's another one over there. Look. Oh my gosh, you can see the teeth on that one. Oh my gosh, look at the teeth. Oh, I don't want to get too close. Yeah, I guess there's nothing really that can be done about a whale on the beach. It'll just go back to nature. Okay, I'm going to continue on and try and find this ancient site which is nearby. This is the Quoyness chambered cairn, the most significant ancient site on the island of Sanday. This was used as a burial place for the dead, and when they did the excavations in the 1950s, they found human remains in here of both adults and children. This is said to be around 5,000 years old, which is just so hard to believe. And all over Orkney, there is just so much Neolithic history. The standing stones, more tombs like this on all the different islands. So if you're interested in that type of history, definitely you need to plan a trip to Orkney. And I actually became interested in this type of history after visiting Orkney. Before, I wasn't that interested in Neolithic history, but now it's one of my favourite times in history because the structures and the standing stones are so impressive. To go inside this chambered cairn, you need to go through this little gate down here. So I'm going to have to crawl inside. Let's go in and see what is in there. The narrow stone passage stretches for around 3 metres and leads into a central chamber that rises nearly 4 metres high. Oh my gosh. It is so narrow and small. Look how low you have to crouch down. Gosh. Okay. Wow, this is crazy. Up on the roof there's a big window as well, which lets the light in. The inside is like this, and then down there's more little cubby holes. Let's see what's in there. Oh my gosh, they look so dark and scary. What the heck is in there? Maybe that's where they actually buried people. This place is really impressive. Those dark rooms behind me are freaking me out a little bit. I have a weird feeling inside here. Definitely feels like the place that dead people once were, or maybe still are. Who knows? So impressive to see though, and to think about how old this place is. This is how low you have to crouch down like this. It's crazy. Okay. Oh, gosh. The chambered cairn was absolutely fantastic. Sanday is really well known for its stunning beaches, and I want to head to one of the most famous beaches here on the island next. It's only accessible at low tide, and it's perfect timing because the tide is going to hit low tide in around an hour. So that's where I'm going to head next. I have made it to the next spot, which is the beach. There it is in front of me there. I started by walking along the beach at Cata Sand, a tidal lagoon that quickly fills as the sea returns with the tide. This place is amazing. Look at this. It feels like the end of the earth here, and it's getting blasted by wind in my face. It is incredible. I was just speaking to someone walking their dog who said there's actually another beach. There's 2 beaches back to back. So I'm going to go and see the other beach as well. And he said, be very careful with the tides here because you can get cut off. I have just come over the sand dunes here and oh my goodness, this beach is out of this world. A narrow peninsula separates Cata Sand from Tresness Beach. It's a long, sweeping stretch of white sand and turquoise water, often described as one of the most beautiful beaches in the Northern Isles. It's backed by tall sand dunes and grassland. The weather is obviously not blue skies and blazing sunshine today, but I like it when the weather is like this as well. It gives so much more personality to the scenery when there's grey skies or crashing waves. I'm the only person on this beach. There's no one else. No one! That beach was amazing, totally loved it, and I've been so lucky with the weather so far. The rain hasn't arrived, so I'm going to try and head to one more place. There is a really unique and interesting lighthouse here on Sanday that I want to see, so that'll be my next stop. I have parked up the van now. I want to go and see the lighthouse, and I thought the road went all the way to the lighthouse, but this road is actually closed, this road covered in sand due to erosion. So it's a short walk, and then I should be able to get a better view of the lighthouse. I'm walking out towards the lighthouse, and look at this. I don't think I've seen as much seaweed in one location anywhere. This is like a seaweed forest. I love looking at all the different seaweed. It's like looking at a big tapestry with all the different colours. I wonder if anyone makes seaweed art. Has anyone ever seen anyone making seaweed art? I think that would be really cool, but it might be a bit smelly. That's the only thing. I have made it to the point where you need to cross over, and this is very dependent on the tide. So the tide comes over this stretch here and cuts off the access to the lighthouse. I'm not going to head over there because I heard it's very slippery because there's so much seaweed, but I've seen there are some other people in the distance who have gone over. This is Start Point Lighthouse. Instantly recognisable for its bold black and white vertical stripes, a striking contrast to the more traditional white or yellow lighthouses found elsewhere in Scotland. Its distinctive stripes were added in 1915. It's a Stevenson lighthouse and was first established in 1806 and later rebuilt in 1870. Start Point was home to Scotland's first revolving light. So cool to see a stripy lighthouse. This is so unique. I have not seen anything like this anywhere else in Scotland. This was one of the first lighthouses in Scotland to be automated, and these days all the lighthouses are automated. The last one was automated on Fair Isle, and that was in the late 80s. I really enjoyed going around the island and seeing lots of different places. It's so nice to be back here at the farmhouse again though, and I've been eyeing up that bath ever since I arrived, so I think I'm going to go for a bath. The bath was so nice, especially as it started raining outside. It felt so lovely to be in the bath. And it's getting dark now, so I'm going to cook up some dinner. I am going to try and use this ingredient and make some Scottish bannocks. time for dinner. So these are the bannocks, the bear bannocks, and they're meant to be really good with butter. And then I also have here some pea and mint soup from the can. I just had it in the van and I thought that could go quite nicely with the bannocks. So try the bannock first on its own. It's nice to try making them myself. I think maybe they need to have risen a bit more. They're quite stodgy in the middle, but still taste good. I had to add salt and pepper to the soup. It was very bland. It's very nice though with the mint. Throughout the duration of my stay here, I keep thinking about the box bed, and on my first day I made the decision to stay on the ground floor, but kind of regret my decision. It's a really nice room, I love it, but it's such a unique experience to stay in the box bed. So I think for my final night here in the farmhouse, I'm going to stay in the box bed so I can have the experience. Let's do it. This is the box bed. Oh my gosh, it's really comfy. I'm really sorry that I used the linen in 2 beds. Oh, there's the sheet. I need to go under the sheet. Oh, this is so nice. I'm going to close the doors now. Tucked away in the box bed. I feel like a little child. I love it. Why did we stop using box beds? They're so cozy. I totally loved my experience staying inside the box bed. It was so cozy and it felt like staying inside a bunk bed. Really, really glad I had that experience. But my time here in the farmhouse has unfortunately come to an end. I have enjoyed my time here so much. It has been so good. It's really given me a deeper understanding of what life on an island would have been like, especially 100 years ago or so. I think in this day and age, it's very easy just to buy something new if you have something that breaks or needs repaired. Whereas staying in this house has shown me that you can try and make do with what you have and try and find a solution to repair something, or try and find a solution of how to do something if you don't know how to do it. But yeah, it's been such a lovely time here. I think this is my favourite place I have ever stayed, and I'm so sad to leave. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. If you'd like to experience Bolacoy for yourself, you can find more information in the video description, along with a link to their YouTube channel where they share more about the house and its history.